Good morning. Happy 4th of July. I don't really, not that concerned about just national holy days. Holidays are not holy. They're holidays. They're set apart for the people who believe in them, but they're not set apart to the Lord. I think this day is significant for our country because it did establish one of the best forms of government on the planet, and it was started by British citizens who knew they were not being treated fairly, correctly by their own government, and that's why they revolted. They had the advantage of being across an entire ocean. It's a lot easier to wage a war when your neighbor, not your neighbor, the person you're waging it against isn't right next door with their, all their supplies and stuff, that they have to take them all the way across an ocean, and it takes them 3 months, and they're in an area that they're not familiar with climates they're not familiar with, and so the revolutionaries had some advantages. Anyway, it's not the point of the video. I'm out here. You can tell the orchard has just gone to pot. Well, my back's been out. It's overgrown. We've got things in the pathway. We've got leafhopper bugs chewing on plants. We still have some sort of animal coming at night and raiding. It's probably a raccoon, but it's smart enough to avoid the trap I set for it multiple times. Today's going to be a garden day for Pastor and I, and it's not just this that needs work. So we're going to try working all first day just on our land. All right. I will keep you guys updated as I go. It's kind of hard to see, but that little white thing right in the middle of the screen is the leaf hopper larva. And as you see, the end of that plant has already broken and is hanging down. That's what they do. They just keep attacking the stem of the plant until they kill that, and then they probably lay eggs in there. So my chief defense against them is just simply to squish them so I don't have to use, an organic or not organic, a chemical against them. So this is the other part. I just squish them, and they love to get in blackberry thorns. So if I go after them in the blackberry thorns without having gloves on, I usually get a prickle. But that's one of the things I'm doing today. So what else I did was prune back some blackberry bushes that were sticking out in the pathway, and I did a lot of killing of those bugs that are attacking all my plants. I pruned a bunch of limbs, and I'll show you the pruned limb pile. I didn't think about bringing a tripod down so I could video myself cutting things. I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to video today, but there's the pile of stuff right there of limbs I pruned off of different trees in the orchard, and there's still a bunch of those little mite things that are in those limbs, so I step on them. I trimmed up all along this fence line. I'm trying to cut extra plants back from the fence line, and then I had a plant growing here, had these cute little pink puffball things on it. And I thought, wow, anything with a flower, sorry, I'm getting the gate. A flower like that, it's got to be something good, right? It's got to be something pretty. Well, it was pretty, but it's just full of spines, tines, whatever you call it, all over the plant. The stem, the leaves, everything. And here's another plant I regularly pull up and throw in the path where the lawnmower is going to go. It's a kind of grass called foxtail. Very bad. Very bad. And so this plant, I guess I could try to pick it up without hurting myself. It looks kind of cool. It looks kind of, evergreeny and stuff, but it is so spiny tiny that I don't want it reproducing where my grandkids are going to be possibly walking, or me. And it was near our blackberries, so I cut that down and I dragged that out. This little pond where the ducks swim, it's all muddy, but I let them out in it, and I put a little duckweed down in there, and then I had my hook. I forget what you guys call it. Some people call it a corn knife. I put it on one of my canes, that's really lightweight, and I was swinging it around and chopping the Korean sesame. This plant is also known as perella. It's a noxious weed. Looks really nice. Smells like licorice. Very bad. So I was working on that, and then I realized I probably don't need to overdo it. So I was on my way back to the house. I totally forgot my phone. Had to go all the way back and get it, walk up, and then have my breakfast. So this is just the beginning of the day. I will be videoing a little bit of our garden, which is completely overgrown since we had a bunch of rain in those 2 weeks when I was down and out. But Pastor and I are going to try to hit that probably this afternoon. We do have some green beans growing. We have a bunch of tomatoes growing from different people. I planted some, and then we had a lady give us like 30 heirloom plants. So hopefully we'll get a good tomato harvest, y'all willing, and we will also do some canning. I would love to do green beans, and I have neem oil and diatomaceous earth that I'm putting on the plants at night, hoping to keep the bugs at bay. Now, I did watch a recent Baker Seed Company video about things to plant in your summer garden in July, and so I'm going to follow some of what they suggested and plant more things. I'll also try to show you, I have a huge, I think it's zucchini, might be yellow squash plant, and normally they just don't make it. They get big, and then the squash bugs obliterate them. So I had kind of drenched it in diatomaceous soil too, hoping to stem that, and we'll see. The other issue seems to be not much pollination going on, and so I may have to get my Q-tips out and pollinate that squash myself. All right, y'all. I will check back in with you later. I had a little rest. I had some lunch, and I am now, I'm gonna get you in here. And you see that kale right there? I think you can now. I have been chopping off some of the bigger leaves, and I've put them in the dehydrator, and I'm going to go load the dehydrator, and then I'm going to put some black plastic down. And this time I have my tripod, so hopefully I can make this, a little steadier for you. I'm at the dehydrator. You'll see it's got 5 trays. I have some Swiss chard ready to go up there, and all I do is, see if I can get this guy to show it to you. I put the food on the tray. You see how big these Swiss chard leaves are, hopefully. You just kind of spread them out so there's a little air between them. And this is stained from when blackberries are on there, but this thing gets really, really hot. So that's just stain. And then this particular one doesn't look so good. Let me hold that one aside. That one needs a little bit of cleaning. It's got like some dirt from the bed on it. But these just go right on the plastic shelving that my neighbor put in this thing, and then I close it. Oh, there's Caterpillar. He needs to get out. All right, so that is how I do my dehydrator. I just put stuff on the shelf, and when it's dry, I take it down. And I already had the shelves full of greens last time, so I have a whole bag of greens. And I will go looking around my garden for other things I can dehydrate. And like I said, I have to put some black plastic down. All right, so this, I hope you can see it, is the seed stalk of a mustard plant. And this particular mustard was really spicy and hot, and I liked it. So I'm going to cut some of the drier stuff right here, and I'm going to put it in a bag so that I can plant this again later. And so I'm going to chop that off and then put it in a bag. That's how I save that. Here is the Ziploc bag, and I cut only the dry stalks, not the ones that are still green. So here they are, and I just put them right into the bag. If I have to, I'll fold them. But when they're dry, when they get really, really dry, they split and then they drop their seeds out. And I don't want those seeds. See, you can already see them in the bottom. I don't want those seeds dropping out on the ground if I can help it. I'm trying to save these things for myself so I can replant this particular mustard that I really like. We're heading towards the 4 hoop houses that we made. These are not in their final configuration. We are going to do other things with them, but because we already had some perennials growing in here, we are just leaving them the way they are. And then when they're done, we will finish what we're going to do with them, which will look more kind of like that. However, there'll be raised beds in there, not beds on the ground. And so 2 of these beds are mine, 2 of these belong to Pastor. This one is mine, and in the middle of it are kale and turnip seed stalks that I plan on trying to get some seeds out of. And then the rest of what's in the bed is pretty much weeds. So then what I'm going to do is, once I'm done gathering those seed stalks, I'm just going to lay some black plastic down, heavy duty, and try to get this whole bed to just go flat, if that makes sense. Now there's still a few, like I could really draw this out. I could spray the kale plants because they've been ravaged by the bugs now. I could spray them with like neem oil and put some diatomaceous earth and everything and try to extend the life of the kale plant. But I have kale planted elsewhere. And so what if I find any leaves or anything, I will get them to put in the dehydrator. But the main thing I'm doing here is getting these seeds. 2 leaves I found. This is only tied in place. Gotta make sure I have the stuff I need when I go in there to cut those. That's the kale. I think that's turnip. This is much drier because it's much older. So I've gotten a lot of what was in the middle, well, in the middle out. And I've got just one like back corner over there to finish, and then I can get that plastic down. So this will be a to be continued. I'm outside at my wash station, and I had set out some wash tubs. Can't see this one, but it's dark brown. This one's gray. Uh, and there's warm water in them. And then I had these elements from the camp stove I've been using for 4 or 5 years. And one of them's kind of blocked up. Now they are solid to the back, so I'm not sure what's going to happen when I start trying to clean in there, but one of them's not feeding very well. So I may have to get another one, and I have to bend down because I'm tall. But I wanted to show you, instead of me, this is the only way I'm heating up water these days, except for a turkey fryer in the bathroom. So I'm just going to use the water I set out for me to bathe in later to wash these and see how that works. So let me just use this cup to pour some of the hotter water in there. And then put a little Dawn, because, you know, Dawn eats grease. And we'll see if we can get this thing a little clearer. I brought a green pad because they're a little rusty on the back. So I thought I'd just do a little scrubbing the rust. And if you just put oil on that, it kind of just takes care of that. You're just going to have to look at my torso there for a minute. Well, you saw this on my, I guess I could do it that way, on my sorghum videos where I'm just too tall. So let's see if I can keep the angle the same and get it up just a little bit higher without you guys loosen. Well, now you can see my face, but you can't see. Maybe sort of that way. I step back. I don't know. Just quick to show you the kind of stuff that off-grid living, the way we're doing it. As I've said before, not everybody has to do it the way we do it, but how it works out. This is the prime source of water that we heat up for the kitchen, and and like having our coffee in the morning. Like I said, we have a turkey fryer thingy cooker deal in the bathroom to heat up the bath water, which we don't hardly use in the summer because we can just come out here and bathe with water that we set out. All right. The water looks pretty funky. It's hard to tell if that actually came off the back or the front or from inside. I feel like there's some sort of stuff when I shake them like that comes out. But it could just be a wishful thinking. All right, we will do a quick rinse here, and then I will take them back inside and see if that did any good at all. Pastor and I, as you know, we picked a bunch of blackberries, and then maybe when it's not quite so hot outside, we'll get out to the garden. like to wash them. Even if they come right out of the thing, I like to wash them.
So I bring the berries to a boil, and
This
then
is
I
on-
add 7 cups of sugar.
Right.
And
the
bring
sugar
that
goes-
to a boil.
Right.
It's a couple minutes.
And the pectin goes in with the fruit right off the bat.
Right off the bat, does the sugar gel go in?
And it's cooked the first time you boil it. All right, dude. Nope, it's still not. Look at that.
Well, we're not going to mess with that now.
That one's working fine. That one's not.
I can fix this one. I just need to clear out the jets with carburetor.
Pastor.
I am picking goodness for us for this winter. I'm picking blackberries.
Just one of the things we'll be doing today. All right, we've got the heads back on. We're getting ready to do our jam. We have things prepped and we're getting ready for water to boil. That will be our afternoon.
They really popular in the silent mouse.
They
They
did.
even make kids' toys out of them.
That's where all the magic happens. Finished product. There'll be 8 more of these today. Thanks for watching, y'all. Bless you. Shalom.